in the finals. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Nepal police begins investigation for organized crime on those arrested over allegations of involvement in Lalita Niwas land scam. 8 years have passed since the formation of Eminent Persons Group. India yet to receive the report prepared by the group. Experts highlight on lack of diplomatic effort from Nepal's side. Universities to conclude admissions of students for undergraduate programs within 2 months of publication of results of grade 12. UGC to begin early admission to curb exodus of students. And Ireland secures 7th spot at the ICC World Cup qualifier playoffs, defeating Nepal by 3 wickets. The Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police is to investigate against those arrested in alleged involvement in the Lalita Niwas land scam for organized crime. 9 people have been arrested so far in connection with the case, against whom the Bureau has begun probe for organized crime. The Bureau had been investigating them for forging documents to sell government land in Baluatar. Today, the Bureau has taken approval from the Office of Government Attorney to extend their custody by 7 days and begin investigation for organized crime. Prior to this, the police had a limited 25 days to submit investigation report. Now, the CIB can keep the arrestees in custody for up to 60 days for investigation. The Nepal police has arrested 9 people so far, including Min Bahadur Gurung, the owner of Bhatbhatini supermarket chain, former election commissioner Sudhir Kumar Shah, and the then officer at Delhi Bazar Land Revenue Office. They have been alleged of forging documents and for organized crime. 130 more individuals are in the CIB's list for investigation, including former Secretary Deep Basnath, who has been absconding. Meanwhile, Central Investigation Bureau has filed for an application at the Supreme Court through the Office of the Attorney General, demanding for the scrapping of Apex Court's interim order issued against the arrest of 17 individuals alleged of involvement in the Lalita Niwas land scam. The Apex Court had issued an interim order as the 17 alleged of involvement had filed a writ application. As a result, Kaladhar Deuja, Bhupendra Mani Kesi and Surendra Mankapali had been released immediately after their arrest by CIB last week. The Bureau filed an application to scrap the interim order, saying that it had obstructed investigation. The first meeting of the Eminent Persons Group that was formed to review the 1950 peace treaty between Nepal and India took place on this very day in Kathmandu 7 years ago. The group prepared a common report some 5 years ago, and during the 9th meeting of the group held in Kathmandu, they had agreed that the report would first be received by Indian Prime Minister and then by Nepali Premier. However, the report has been stranded as the Indian side has yet to receive the report and Nepalese side has lacked diplomatic efforts. The two sides had agreed for the formation of the group some 10 years ago during the then Prime Minister Baburam Bhattarai's India visit. During Indian Premier Narendra Modi's Nepal visit in the Nepalese year 2071, an agreement was made to form an 8-member EPG with 4 members from each side. Both the countries announced of their team in Nepalese year 2072. The following years, the group reviewed treaties between the two countries and discussed on ways to improve bilateral ties, trade treaties and border security, among others. They made recommendations as well. Discussions were held in 9 rounds to produce a report that has suggestions in political, security, border issues, communication, network and financial cooperation, energy, water resource, education and culture, among others. However, the report has not been received by the southern neighbor as of yet. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we'd asked you, why have important bills not been presented at the ongoing Parliament session? 47% voted for option A, power politics, 27% for B, lack of consensus, and 26% for C, due to budget session. And here's today's question. Why has India not accepted the report of the EPG? Your options are A, against the interest, B, inadequate pressure, and C, concerns over ties. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Universities are to conclude admissions of students for undergraduate programs within 2 months of publication of results of grade 12. The University Grant Commission UGC is to begin the early admission program of students to curb the number of students leaving Nepal for higher education in other countries. The Commission, which has finalized the national academic calendar, is of the belief that this plan will bring uniformity in the entrance examinations and admissions. University Grant Commission has prepared a national academic calendar for higher education, which requires concluding admission of undergraduate level within 60 days of publication of the results of grade 12. Based on this system, the annual programs must begin the latest by the 1st of Mangshir as per the Nepali calendar and conclude by the 15th of Bhadra, while examinations must be administered by the 15th of Asoj. For programs operating in the semester system, results must be published within 5 months of beginning of the academic session. Separate academic calendars of different universities have led to dilemma among students and their parents and guardians regarding entrance examinations and admission schedules. Processes are delayed in medical and engineering education because of entrance examinations and matching processes. Vice Chancellors of Health Science Academies have recommended for expediting the entire process as well. Around 200,000 students clear grade 12 examinations each year, while more than 110,000 leave the country for higher education abroad. Therefore, the national academic calendar has been prepared with the objective of creating a conducive environment to retain the students by providing quality education and timely admission. However, Vice Chancellors of universities have identified challenges in implementing the idea. They have said that political commitment is imperative for the efficient implementation of the concept. Absence of uniformity in academic calendars have led to a drop in quality of education and the drop in image of Nepal's education standard in international platform. Experts have therefore also identified the need for efficient implementation of the academic calendar to uplift the standard of Nepali education. Now, in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked people in several provinces what should be done to ensure the transparency of finances of political parties. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
Audit नै गरेर यसो सार्वजनिक गर्दा नै राम्रो
दलका आफ्ना गतिविधि आफ्ना क्रियाकलापहरू ठीक ढंगले सञ्चालन गर्ने हो भने राजनीति गर्ने व्यक्तिहरूको आर्थिक क्रियाकलाप पारदर्शी नै हुन्छ।
करको दायरामा तिनलाई पनि ल्याउनु पर्छ।
तिनीहरुको अडिट हुने हो र त्यो अडिट रिपोर्ट चाहिँ जनता सामु लाने हो भने देखि उनीहरु चाहिँ संगठन उनीहरुको अझ मजबुत पनि हुन्छ।
भुक्तानी दिने चेक मार्फत डिपोजिट गराउने बैंकिङ मार्फत गएपछि सम्पूर्ण कुरा पारदर्शी हुन सक्छ।
राजनीतिक दलले बिल भाउचर पारदर्शी गरी सही ठाउँमा पुर्याइदिनु पर्छ।
राजनीतिक दलहरुले जे जति पनि आम्दानी खर्च गर्छन् अब यसको अनुगमन पनि हुनु पर्यो।
कागजपत्र सही राखेर बिल भाउचरहरु तयार गरेर राख्दिनु पर्यो।
टेर्दैनन् गर्दैनन् हुँदैन।
दलका लेखा समितिहरुलाई चुस्त दुरुस्त बनाउने
सरकारले अलिकति नियन्त्रण गर्नुपर्छ।
हिसाब किताब छर्लङ्ग देखाइदिएपछि त कसैले औँलो उठाउन पाउँदैन।
वहाँका बिल भरपाईहरु पारदर्शी तरिकाले चाहिँ सबैले जानकारी हुने गरेर देखाउनु पर्ने देखिन्छ।
अडिट सार्वजनिक त गर्नै पर्छ।
मिटिङ बैठकमा चाहिँ आम्दानी यति भयो यो वर्षको खर्च यति भयो भनेर सबैलाई चाहिँ सुनाउनु पर्यो।
नेताहरुमा चाहिँ के हुनु पर्यो एउटा इमानदारीता हुनु पर्यो।
स्रोत के हो त्यो चाहिँ सबै जनतालाई एउटा जवाबदेही रूपमा उत्तरदायी रूपमा उनीहरुले चाहिँ जानकारी गराउनु पर्छ।
दलहरु सञ्चालन गर्ने मान्छेहरु चाहिँ जिम्मेवार बन्नु पर्यो।
पारदर्शी तरिकाले उसको बिल भरपाई बुझाएर फर्चोट गरिदिनु पर्यो।
उनीहरुको खर्च विवरण चाहिँ समय समयमा सार्वजनिक गर्नुपर्छ।
आर्थिक कारोबार भएको हुन्छ त्यसको चाहिँ पारदर्शी रूपमा लेखा परीक्षण गर्ने।
एभ्री ट्रान्ज्याक्सन राख्न पर्यो सफ्टवेयरमा राखेर डिस्प्ले गर्दिने सबैलाई।
It's time now for the international update. Russia will continue to oppose Western sanctions, President Vladimir Putin has said, following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. His address to a virtual Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit was his first to an international meeting since last month's mutiny in Russia. Putin backed trade accords between SCO nations in local currencies, seen as an attempt to blunt sanctions. The 2023 SCO summit is taking place virtually under India's leadership. Putin used the platform to send a message of defiance to the West, saying he has made several public appearances since the Wagner mercenary group staged a short-lived mutiny in late June, but this was the first time he'd been seen with a group of international leaders. He added that more than 80% of trade between Chinese and Russian people was in rubles and yuan, and urged other SCO members to follow the same process. He also welcomed Russian ally Belarus's application to become a permanent member of the SCO next year. Summit host Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called on members to boost trade, connectivity and tech cooperation, among others. but he did not directly refer to either the war in Ukraine or China's increasingly assertive stance in the Indo-Pacific. India, historically non-aligned, had to walk a tight diplomatic rope due to its increasingly strong ties with the West. The abolishment of the mandatory death penalty in Malaysia has come into force as the Abolition of Mandatory Death Penalty Act 2023 has been gazetted. Malay Mail's check with the Malaysia Federal Legislation website showed the gazettement dated June 30, 2023 and signed by de facto Law Minister Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said. The Dewan Rakyat passed the bill proposing to make the death penalty an option and no longer mandatory after it was tabled for its third reading on April 3rd. The abolition of mandatory death penalty bill would give judges the discretion on the death penalty rather than requiring them to do so when convincing on offences that made them mandatory. The amendments in the bill also include replacing life and natural life imprisonment until death as an alternative to the mandatory death sentence, with the new alternative of jail of between 30 and 40 years. Since July 2018, Malaysia has placed a de facto moratorium on executions pending institutional reforms undertaken by the various administrations that have existed in that time. The last death row prisoner was hanged in 2017, but because legislation carrying the mandatory death penalty has remained effective, the courts have been bound to continue sentencing defendants to death despite the moratorium on executions. Welcome back. It's time now for the sports update.
Sports news.
Nepal has suffered a 3-wicket defeat at the hands of Ireland at the ICC World Cup qualifier playoffs. Team Nepal had posted a target of 269 runs for Ireland at the 7th place playoff of the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifier underway at Takashenga Sports Club in Highfield, Harare. After being put to bat, Nepal posted a total of 268 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in 50 overs. Gulshan Jha remained unbeaten at 57 runs from 42 balls. He hit the fence 4 times and smashed 3 sixes. Arjun Saud made 48 runs while Kushal Malla contributed 44 runs. Mark Adair, Barry McCarthy and Craig Yu had 2 wickets each, while Curtis Camphor, Gareth Delany and Andy McBreen shared a wicket apiece. In reply, Ireland met the target of 269 runs in 49.2 overs, losing 8 wickets. Karan Casey claimed 3 wickets for Nepal, while Gulshan Jha and Kishore Mahato claimed 2 wickets for Nepal. With the loss, Nepal settled for the 8th position in the qualifier. India has successfully defended its SAF championship title, defeating Kuwait in tiebreaker. In the match held in Bangalore's Kantipur Stadium, Kuwait opened its account in the 14th minute. Sabib Al-Khalid had utilized a pass from Abdullah Al-Blausi to score for Kuwait. India equalized in the 38th minute. Both the sides failed to find the net even in extra time, taking the match to penalty round. This was Kuwait's first appearance in the tournament, while India has previously won the championship 8 times. Team Nepal have thrashed host Malaysia by 221 runs to be crowned the ACC Men's Under-16 East Zone Cup champions. In the grand finale, the age group side restricted Malaysia for a paltry 31 runs. In the match played at the Biomass Oval, Nepal won the toss and elected to bat, where a century from Narine Bhatta helped the visitors post 252 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in 35 overs. It was the second highest total posted by Nepal at the ongoing tournament. Bhatta remained unbeaten at the 112 runs, and from 89 balls, his innings featured 10 fours and 2 sixes. Neeraj Kumar Yadav contributed 47 runs for Nepal. In reply, Malaysia could not bat well against Nepali bowlers. Muhammad Akram top scored for the hosts with 10 runs, while none of the other batters scored in double digits. Abhishek Tiwari was the pick of Nepali bowlers with 5 wickets in his 6 overs, while giving away only 7 runs. Santosh Yadav had 3 wickets, while Sagar Gaire and Ashok Dhami shared a wicket apiece. Nepal had previously been crowned the champions of the tournament, organized by the ACC as Eastern Region in 2017 and 2019. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.